If I may, let me show you a few of the things in the collection. And I picked out things either because there's a special importance to me, or maybe a kind of story I'd like to tell you about it, or maybe a recommendation I have with regard to how I've managed to get some of these things. So let's get started. This first object is what they call a Quimbaya figure. And it's from Colombia, maybe about 1000 AD. And it's mainly the way I acquired it that I wanted to tell you about it. First, let me just say a little bit about it. This figure represents like a shaman or some kind of a religious figure doing a ceremony. And these holes here at the top, you can't see, would have been for clothes that he would wear, or feathers. So this doll, this figure would have had those accoutrements or accessories, and that's what the holes are for. The other thing that's really interesting is you may be able to see these lines going across at the wrist and at the arm, and that's because in the ceremony, the person would have a ligature or a cord tied around that part of the body, which would of course produce swelling in the part furthest away from the heart, so that if he put that ligature around the wrist, the hand would begin to swell. If it was up here in the upper arm, the entire arm would swell. And apparently in that culture, it was important to show something about that represented. I don't know exactly, maybe the experts would know. But the main story, actually, the reason I picked this is to kind of give you an idea of some of the fun things that can happen when you collect. The gentleman that I have used for many years who helps me find things was asked to go up to Lake County in Northern California because a terrible fire had happened up there, and one of the people that he knew had a nice collection, and she lost a lot of things. She asked him to come up there and appraise the losses that she had, see what he might be able to recover from the ashes and in the house, and he went in the house, and then she said, well, outside there was a cabinet there in that other building, and if you find anything in the ashes, you just take it and just appraise for me the other things that I lost. Well, he did go in the ashes, and he found this figure. It was, this leg was right across there, was broken off. That's where I was able to repair it at that spot there. You can actually see the glass from the cabinet that it was in that was melted by the heat of the fire and is actually still there. So I was able to get it for $25. Now, I know we don't want to spend our time on mundane affairs like money, but on the other hand, anybody out there who likes to collect, it will be a factor, and it certainly is for me. So I'm proud of the fact that I got the piece for almost no money. The glass is a reminder for me of what life can bring sometimes. She lost a lot of treasures. Fortunately, she was not hurt. Nobody was killed in that fire. Don't be afraid to repair these things. The repairs and the life of the piece only tells you more about it. It's the history of the piece, just like don't frown about any of those wrinkles that you have because they're part of your life. So that's one of my favorites.